In the autumn for some spectacular October baseball. The first game featured the Red Sox against the Yankees in a one-game showdown to see who would advance. To inaugurate that game, we welcomed as dear a friend as Red Sox Nation has ever had. We cheered our hearts out when he threw that ceremonial first pitch. It was our way of letting him know, collectively, how much we have all admired, appreciated, and loved him. And many of us couldn't help but think if that might be a farewell as well. And so it was. And we have to think, if there was ever a way to have a finale, a cheering crowd here at Fenway Park before a Red Sox-Yankees winner-take-all game in October, well, that might just be the ultimate curtain call. So first of all, and most of all, from all of us who knew Jerry Remy, who knew the man who resided in your living rooms and in your baseball hearts for more than 40 years, we say thank you. Your love of this man enhanced his life and enriched him so. And just as Jerry gave us some of the happiest moments of our lives, so too did you give him some of the happiest moments of his life. You can be proud of that. And all of us, with the Red Sox and with Nesson, most sincerely thank you for that. And while Jerry was a part of your family, part of our family, part of the New England family, won't you please now give a warm welcome to those who may welcome it most. Phoebe Remy, their son Jordan, daughter Jenna, Jenna's husband Leif Vonderheide, and their granddaughter Ariana. As you can imagine, Jerry was blessed with friendships that span the country and span the decades. And we are so happy to have some of your favorite people and his favorite teammates, colleagues, and friends for more than 40 years. Welcome back and welcome home, one of the greatest outfields in the history of baseball. Friend and colleague of ours, left fielder and Hall of Famer Jim Rice, center fielder, Red Sox Hall of Famer Fred Lynn, and right fielder and Red Sox Hall of Famer Dwight Evans. Jerry's keystone combo partner and one of the most intense and popular shortstops to ever play for the Red Sox. Welcome home, Red Sox Hall of Famer Rick Burleson. And the closer, the man who caught that last pitch Jerry Remy threw, a teammate on the field and in the booth, our friend, the Hall of Famer, Dennis Eckersley. And when it comes to teammates, Jerry was blessed to have his locker right next to this man, the man who helped us dream impossible dreams, who gave birth to Red Sox Nation, and who is still as great a player as the Red Sox have ever had. The one and only number 8, the man they call Yaz, Hall of Famer Carl Yastrzemski. Being welcomed home by his teammates. Joining these baseball luminaries, a collection of Jerry's colleagues, a host of broadcasters who are grateful for his mentorship and camaraderie. Please welcome back to the sidelines at Fenway, Gary Streisky, Eric Freed, Jemai Webster, Heidi Watney, Tina Servasio, Jenny Dell, and Garen Austin. And welcome three New England broadcast legends who knew and loved Jerry through and through. Please welcome Butch Stearns, John Holt, and Dan Roach. And the broadcaster without peer, a friend to Jerry and all of us for decades, his 40th year in the booth, Red Sox Hall of Famer, Joe Castiglione. Among the legion of friends in the studio, in the booth, behind the cameras, and in the truck, we acknowledge those who are working tonight's NESN broadcast, led by my director, Dan Aspen, producer, Amy Johnson, and now also welcome these tremendously accomplished producers and directors. Russ Ken, Mike Narachi, Kate Mishral, Mark Quinzel, Bob Frateroli, and John Wilson. And now, here to speak on behalf of all those who had the pleasure to play with Jerry Remy, welcome the man who threw and pitched in more games than any other member of the Boston Red Sox pitching staff, Red Sox Hall of Famer, the Steamer, Bob Stanley.
Okay, Phoebe. Thank you. It's great to be here for my buddy Jerry. He was a great teammate, and first of all, he was my best friend. He was a gamer. He worked his butt off every day. Not too many people did that. And he worked so hard that he got 7 knee operations. But he was a battler on the field and all the way to the end. Jerry, I miss you. I love you, and save me a chair at the bar. Thank you.
There are so many broadcasters who got to work alongside Jerry Remy, people like myself who were so honored to call him a friend, a mentor, who learned so much about baseball and about broadcasting from him. To speak on our behalf, Jerry's broadcasting career from the foremost family of Boston sports, journalism, and broadcasting. Please welcome a national legend, but still one of ours, Sean McDonough.
Thank you, TC. Thanks for reading that just as I wrote it. And good evening, everyone. I'm deeply honored to have been asked to speak on this special occasion, and I will try to be uncharacteristically brief. But it'll be difficult to summarize such a multifaceted personality, life, and career in just a few minutes. And it will also be difficult because the pain of Jerry's loss is still very raw. The reality hasn't fully sunk in, and the sense in this early season that someone who was so remarkably important to the Red Sox experience isn't here, and it's palpable, and it's sad. This beloved ballpark doesn't feel the same without Jerry, nor does watching Red Sox baseball. And that feeling may fade, but it will never completely go away. Jerry Remy was, is, and always will be that special. Tonight is a celebration of the life of a man who got to live 2 dreams. As you know, he grew up in Somerset dreaming of being a major league player. And with his trademark hard work and blessed with great speed, he lived that dream, first with the Angels and then here with the Red Sox. How many of us had dreams of playing for the Red Sox? Jerry lived that dream, and he had a distinguished playing career that ultimately was ended prematurely by a serious knee injury. The second dream happened by accident. At the end of that playing career, needing to make a living, Jerry became a Red Sox broadcaster in 1988. By his own admission, he didn't enjoy it. In fact, he hated it. And with his customary candor, 3 years ago, he wrote in his book that, quote, "I was absolutely not good at all," which is also an example of Jerry's good judgment and his self-awareness. He wanted to quit after 1 year, but his amazing wife, Phoebe, told him to give it a little more time. And when I spoke with Phoebe earlier today, she said she wasn't feeling that way because she thought Jerry was going to be good on TV. She just didn't want him around the house all the time. But thank you, Phoebe. You stole my line. Thank you, Phoebe. Because how different these last 3.5 decades would have been without your good counsel. And you and your family are constantly in our hearts and in our thoughts and in our prayers. And with good fortune, Jerry got to work with the legendary Ned Martin. And by working at the craft, Jerry gradually became more comfortable being on the air. Like Jerry, I got the chance to live my childhood dream when I became a Red Sox broadcaster, and the real-life experience surpassed that dream because I had the chance to share the booth with Jerry for 9 years. I and all of us who were blessed to work with him, and not just here on the field, these wonderful people, but the folks behind the cameras and in the truck at every level of the operation, were so blessed to come to the ballpark every night knowing that we had a chance to be a part of a broadcast that was going to be special because Jerry was special. He was going to perform his role at the highest possible level, so we had to make sure that we were at our best. And most of all, he was going to make it fun. We marveled at his daily routine, arriving incredibly early and at the same time every day, going to the clubhouse, filling out the lineup card, eating and performing many other tasks at exactly the same day, the same time every day. And that daily routine also included exiting the ballpark as fast as was humanly possible. I remember the glare when I didn't get my media guides in my briefcase fast enough post-game. Early in our time together, I gave him the nickname Rem Dog because his gritty style was similar to those Red Sox teams of those days that he admiringly called dirt dogs. And over time, it was awesome to see all of those qualities that made him Rem Dog emerge. He always had the unsurpassed knowledge of passion for the game. But as he became more comfortable on the air, he became more comfortable sharing more of himself, that sense of humor, the wonderful laugh, and his great storytelling ability. To me, Jerry was at his best when the game wasn't compelling, and he would talk about any and all things, including but not limited to Wally, soap operas, pizza throws, Judge Judy, miners' helmets, haiku poetry, and countless other topics. One viewer dubbed inane banter, and she didn't intend it as a compliment. But Red Sox Nation loved it, and we loved it, and we'll always love Jerry. Our job as broadcasters is to entertain and inform, to add to your enjoyment of the game without detracting from it. By that and all other standards by which you would judge a broadcaster, Jerry Remy was an all-time great, not just here in Red Sox Nation, but among all broadcasters of all time. And I pray someday he takes his rightful place in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. But more than anything else, the reason Jerry became Rem Dog and a much-loved icon is because of all of you, the fans of Red Sox Nation. Through the decades, you showered him with love and showed him appreciation in so many ways. We just saw examples of it in that video. The omnipresent signs throughout the park, the boxes of mail that showed up in our booth, the kind words you would share when you would encounter him in person as he was speeding toward the parking lot. As he wrote in his book, through his health issues and personal tragedies, his refuge was Red Sox baseball. And every time he returned, as we saw in the video, especially last fall when he threw out the first pitch before the game against the Yankees, and we knew we were saying goodbye, your thunderous ovations shook this venerable ballpark and touched his and every heart. And you did it not only because of the countless hours of enjoyment that he gave you, but because you came to know during that time spent together that Jerry Remy was a very good man. There can be no greater blessing in life than to know you are loved. And Jerry left this life knowing he was loved in a way very few have ever experienced. So on behalf of the Remy family and all of us who were blessed beyond measure to call him a dear friend, thank you, Red Sox Nation, for all you did for Jerry and for showing yet again why you all are truly the best. Rest in peace, Rem Dog. We love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. Although he said the same time every year he came to the ballpark 15 minutes earlier and earlier and earlier. Nobody got to the ballpark and worked harder and longer than Jerry Remy. And it's hard to imagine our broadcast booth without him now. So we are announcing tonight the Red Sox in Nesson will officially name the broadcast booth where Jerry sat each night the Jerry Remy booth, and it will be marked with a commemorative plaque, and we will now present a replica of that plaque to the Remy family. Presenting it are Red Sox President and CEO Sam Kennedy and Nesson President and CEO Sean McGrail. Also at Nesson's headquarters in Watertown, a similar plaque commemorating the Rem Dog will be on display. Last June, Jerry won his 4th and final Emmy for broadcasting excellence. He was hoping to pick it up himself at the Nesson studios, but as his health failed, he was unable to. Now, Sean McGrail will present that cherished memento to the family of the longest tenured television broadcaster in the history of the Red Sox, Jerry Remy. We could stand here and tell Jerry Remy stories, but there is a baseball game to play, and we could go on all night if we had time. We ask you to keep Jerry Remy in your hearts, in your minds, and as we think of him, whenever we see a slice of pizza fly through the air, do it with a smile. We think of the air guitar moment, the laughter he and Don Orsillo shared, the background Scooby-Doo laugh of Jerry Remy when a play-by-play man like Dave O'Brien was trying to call the game, the unbridled joy that Jerry shared with all of us, watching the game night after night and celebrating with us as the team won 4 world championships that brought us together as one. When Jerry passed away, so many of you offered your condolences, your sympathy to all of us who knew him. But I will tell you that he was your friend every bit as much as he was ours. The man you invited into your living room every summer night was the same man we knew. Your relationship with Jerry Remy was real. He was the most authentic broadcaster any of us have ever known. So as we get set for baseball, I will say the words we miss every night now. Buenas noches, amigos. Rest in peace, Jerry. Rest in peace, our friend. Together, we shared some of the best times of our